Hey, what's happening, everybody? So, first time doing something like this. I'm hanging out with Austin. It's a crypto news today update, but we're going to talk about the crypto crash, right? Because the sky's falling, crypto's gone forever. It's doomed. We're all done. Everybody sell, right? Or no?
I'm looking at your sleeves. You look like your arms are disappearing. So I'm making fun of Zach. He's playing with the software we use is called StreamYard. So he's got a fake background behind him. And do that again. Ready? Do your arms. Do your arms. No, do your arms like that. Look at your arm disappears. Anyway, I was too busy looking at that. So yeah, man, the market kind of sucks. But for me, simply it's a buying opportunity. Of course, the quite frankly, for I know you and I've talked about this, but for me to buy, most of my money's tied up in Ethereum and Bitcoin, and my strike point on most of my Ethereum is in the 4,000. So I'm not buying a lot right now because I'm not going to take a loss on that Ethereum. But I think there's insane opportunities, and so I think the one thing I will say to your opening comments before I was distracted by your disappearing arms, as I'm sure other people were, is and now he's drinking water, but it's really not water. It's probably vodka. Zach has a drinking problem. I'm kidding. Um, we talk all day, and I'm constantly giving him crap. I think that personally, I believe that this is a. I'm not going to use the word manipulation, but I'm going to go right up to that edge. I think that this is another push down by the organized money. Again, I'm not saying I'm over here talking about conspiracy theories. I'm talking about an organized move down by a lot of institutional money to lower prices across the board before we roll into the new year. That's what I think this is. Now, I haven't gone out this morning and spent hours researching. Zach, you might have a different opinion. But when you have Bitcoin dropping below 50,000 and Ethereum dropping below 4,000, to me, there's nothing major has changed. There's not a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt from a government standpoint here in the United States. We still got COVID and all that other crap. But to me, this just feels like a move down by institutional money, smart money, whatever you want to call it, to try to get lower prices. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think, and we were just taking a look at some of those prices that are down 10, 12%. A lot of the market, a lot of these altcoins down 10, 12% right now. And I agree with you, man, 100%. I think, there's a lot of things like around end of the year, right, for tax purposes. A lot of these sellers right now could become buyers as soon as the new calendar year hits. Maybe people are taking out profits from a very profitable 2021. That could be a scenario. I mean, but I was listening to Benjamin Callen. I know we talk off air a little bit, man. He's one of the best in TA, and he really kind of, I want to say put me in my place, but calm my nerves a little bit with his recent analysis, basically saying that Bitcoin is not going to hit its top, at least according to him now, right? It's only one person. But according to him, not until late 2022, early 2023. So that gives me a lot of hope for this overall market. And that, I think, goes to your point, even drives home your point even more, is that this is a massive opportunity. I think you and I both put out some videos today just regarding what we're doing. I bought Solana today. I went diving in on Solana under 180. Love that.
Well, you had dry powder. I have too much damn money sitting in Ethereum and Bitcoin at two. Okay, let's just say it. Zach made some better choices than I did. I'm just going to say that Zach made some better choices on a few investments. He had some dry powder. I do what we talk about. You do as well, but you bought at some different points in time. I loaded more into Ethereum and Bitcoin when we were a little bit higher. I mean, like I own Bitcoin at 55,000. Okay, so that's an example. I'm not selling right here, right now, because I'm not going to take a loss on that. So for me to put money right here, right now, it's brand new money, or I got to liquidate a position. I don't want to liquidate a position in anything I'm currently in. I like where I'm at, but do I wish that I had, 5, 10,000, or and the numbers relative to whomever else is watching, to be able to put into a Solana, a Polkadot. I own those, by the way, but I wouldn't mind buying and buying some additional positions. But I want to go back to something you said earlier, because you walked up to it, but then you kind of backed away from it, not on purpose. You were talking about, I'm sorry, what was his name? I forgot. Brain fart.
Ben Callen.
Ben. Yeah. And you shocked my world, which you introduced me to him. I love his stuff. Hard to watch a little bit, very much kind of a tech guy, but the guy is I think, quintessential guru as it comes to looking at and charting Bitcoin. And you and I both look at Bitcoin and Ethereum as the bellwethers of the overall market, right? So when you showed me that, I was like, kind of, yes, it gave me a sigh of relief. But I want to bring it back to something that we get asked all the time. And I'm leading a question to you, and then I'm going to throw it at you. And you're like, oh, what the hell is this going to be? We have heard and continue to hear a little bit, although I think this is dying down, that there is, quote, a bear market coming in, say, March or April. So what is your opinion of that, married with this information kind of that you were talking about coming from Ben, where he said, no, we're in a super cycle, and he's looking specifically at Bitcoin. But again, Bitcoin drives everything, right? I'm going to let you enter just a minute, but I'm just setting the stage. Whereas he's saying that Bitcoin's not even going to hit its peak until, what was that, mid 2023, right?
Yeah.
And it was going to be north of 150,000 or something like that.
That was a base case too.
That was a base case. So yeah. So guys, what I'm saying is that we have this very, very, very knowledgeable person over here, and this guy saying, look, Bitcoin's not even going to hit a peak until mid 2023. A year, is that right? Year and a half from now. Don't do math in public. Year and a half from now, 2023. And yet you got this group of people over here saying, no. There's this big bearish thing becoming in March and April. And the reason they're saying that, Zach, and then I'm going to say this, I'm going to shut the hell up and let you answer, is they're saying that because it's based off of history. They're looking back and going that. So now, go, what's your opinion?
100%. I mean, you stole my thunder a little bit there, but I'll add a layer. 100%. They're just basing it off these 4-year cycles. Benjamin Cowan makes the point, and a lot of others make the point, that history doesn't always repeat itself. And the amount of people who've come into this market in the last year and a half, it's certainly viable that it could change the market cycles. And I got to give Benjamin credit too. He's been in on this whole idea of a lengthening cycle early 2021. I heard him say it early 2021.
Right.
But it wasn't a popular opinion. And I think, we had this idea that it would kind of come to a head after Q1, but we also had the idea that we would probably top out in December. That hasn't happened. Right.
Well, I don't think nobody saw the derivative-based flash crash that was going to happen in September, and then in was it end of November or 1st of December? We had 2 derivative-based flash crashes. The one in September precipitated a massive bull run that happened in October. The one that happened at the end of the end of November, first week of December, nothing came of that. Okay, I think you had a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, but then you added in all the U.S. government crap, the SEC, the Fed, Omicron, Delta, and all that other junk, right? But that didn't happen, and so I think you didn't have that. But I want to say something. I think you brought up a very good point. I think that going back to Ben and going back to is there a bear market coming in March and April? We don't have a crystal ball, but there are people that are now out there saying, hey, look, it's probably either A, it's not going to happen, or B, not be as bad. But I think it comes back to something you said. If you look at the landscape, you didn't have countries that had adopted Bitcoin as their currency. You didn't have all the institutional money. You didn't have ETFs out there that were, you didn't have as much retail investment dollars in the last 4 years that you have now, which kind of brings me back to, I'm less and less inclined to think that we're heading for some, quote, major bear, whatever the bear market that's going to happen, in April-ish. That's my opinion.
I agree. I mean, something else Benjamin mentioned, actually, I want to pull that back over maybe here. Let me see. There we go. So this kind of shows you total market cap, right? Total market cap globally and how it's kind of went this year. I mean, just look at that. I mean, look at the kind of year we've had. Of course, we're zooming in here, to 2021.
Right.
We haven't seen anything like it. There's been no kind of movement like this. Something else Benjamin mentioned, he says by the end of this cycle, a base case of $10 trillion global market cap. We are right now nowhere close to that. 2.3 billion.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
trillion. Yeah.
Trillion. He thinks it could top out at 10. So obviously, a lot of it's going to go to Bitcoin, but not all of it. A lot of it's going to go to Ethereum, but not all of it. So if you're holding altcoins right now, especially some of the household names, if Benjamin's right, and as you and I both said, I mean, we tend to side with people who are very smart in the space. You try to take in a bunch of information at once. There goes that craziness again. But yeah, man, I'm not as concerned as I was because of the things we've heard him talk about recently, how much money has come into crypto. I just think I don't know if it's all going to happen in January, right? I don't want to go on a limb and say, hey, January is going to be the top off,
No,
blow off month.
no.
I just think it's going to be a great 2022. And I think
Well,
it's going to be huge as well.
and you were telling me because you watched him a little bit more than I do, and I'm definitely getting into him. You were telling me that he has made that base case to say, look, it's not going to just be like this. It's not just going to be a perfect meteoric rise. Of course, like any other equity market, any other market like that, we're gonna have ups, we're gonna have down, we're gonna have dips and things of that nature. But I think at the end of the day, this particular individual, and we can drop a comment below. I mean, not a comment, but a link below if you want. Which Zach, you know what I'm saying? Drop it to like maybe his channel, but he's a little bit hard to watch because he's very tech, and I love him, but he's kind of a nerd. That's okay. That's not a bad thing. I'm definitely one of the smarter people in the room, but I definitely can become a fan. And so I think where it brings me, because we're coming up about 11 minutes and we don't want to talk for 45 minutes, but because we just want to make this video for you guys. Here's my final thoughts on this scenario. What I think is my game plan going forward, and my plan for my group and for my channel is very simple. It's continue with the plan that we've always talked about. Have a diversification plan. Zach and I are very similar in this. We have 70-ish% of our overall holdings are in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then what I think of it is then the next level after that. That's your Solanas, your Polka Dots and assorted other ones, Axie Infinity, Sand, Decentraland, whatever those may be in those respective verticals. And then after that, it's kind of what I kind of consider the fun stuff. Don't shoot the messenger. I think polka dot's fun too, but I'm talking about like, the more highly volatile stuff like your Shiba Inu, Saitama, Zombies and News. And that's why you and I cover all of these respective on our channel. But you have this diversification strategy in place. Beyond that, then you have a profit taking plan in place, right? And you and I are very similar in this. If you put money into a token or a coin, before you buy it, have a profit plan. Try to get your initial investment out as soon as you can. By the way, Zach and I have a really good friend who's a whale. This guy is worth millions of dollars. He has a real simple plan. You know what it is? Let's just say he puts $5,000. The numbers are relevant. Let's say he puts $1,000 into a token. His is a lot more because he's a whale. Let's say he puts 1,000. Basically what he does is when it triples, he pulls that initial investment out. And then he takes that initial investment and goes and puts it in another token. Okay. And then so basically he's, let's say it went from 1,000 to 3,000. He pulled 1,000 out. Now he's got 2,000 in that original token, and he'll either let that $2,000 ride for a little bit more, or if he starts to feel like, and he's really looking at like bell patterns. If that bell pattern starts to kind of level off, he'll liquidate that $2,000 because it's pure profit. He'll pull it out and he'll divert it. Go put 1,000 in another one, 1,000 another one, and that's how he's grown his market, his deal. So that's really what I have to say. I mean, and then lastly, Zach, my point is that be on the lookout for bearish market indicators. Watch us because we're going to be watching it as well. If we see that, I think if we see a bear market, a true bear market, I think we're going to see it coming. And that's kind of how I feel. But I don't know if it's going to happen. So that's my final thoughts. I'm going to throw it back to you, brother.
Yeah, and I'll just add a couple things here. If you want to go watch, well, first off, we've got a podcast coming, and we've already talked for 14 minutes. This is going to be so easy. So if you guys didn't know about that, we've got a weekly podcast coming. We're thinking 20 minutes each episode, which now just doing this, it's going to be a breeze. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to do deep dives into new projects. It's going to be a whole host of things. We might even bring on guests at times. So be on the lookout for that first episode out this week. But going back to Benjamin and his kind of thoughts real quick to kind of put a bow on that. He also said in his discussion with Altcoin Daily, which actually I highlighted right here in this video, Bull Run 2023, also linked the full conversation there with Benjamin and Altcoin Daily, some other great content creators over there. So if you want to just check out that little blurb, you can see this video here or just go right to that video and check out the description, and you can watch the whole thing. He also said Bitcoin's basement. They asked him a great question. Bitcoin never goes below blank. And he said he kind of, talked about 20,000, but he doesn't really think so. 30,000, he'd kind of be shocked. 40,000 feels about right for the basement. So if we get close to that mark, that is kind of indicating we could be into a bear market, I would say, based on what he said and some other analysts as well. So as Austin said, though, we'll be watching it closely. Man, this has been a ton of fun. This is cool. And we're going to do a lot more of these along the way, man.
Let us know. I'm sorry for coughing. I'm still coming out of this crap. Y'all let us know in the comments below if you liked us doing this, and we'll start doing one of these a day if y'all liked it.
Definitely. All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. See ya. Oh, don't forget to smash the like button too on your way out. Later.